Hey there, coffee lovers. Welcome to the very first episode of the Essence Coffee Podcast, where we talk all things coffee, including brewing, roasting, the science behind the perfect cup, and the stories that make coffee so much more than just a drink. I'm Micah, your host and the coffee roaster behind Origin Essence Roasting Co. Whether you're a home brewer just starting to explore specialty coffee or someone who's been deep in the world of craft coffee for a while, my goal is to bring you along on this journey, helping you discover new techniques, flavors, and the deeper story behind every cup. But today, I want to kick things off by sharing a little bit about my own journey in coffee and how I got started, the challenges that I faced along the way, and how those experiences have shaped what Origin Essence Roasting Co. is today. I think it's important to know where your coffee comes from, not just in terms of the farm it was grown on, but the hands that roast it, brew it, and share it with you. So grab a cup of your favorite coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. My love for coffee didn't start with fancy brewing gear or a high-end espresso machine. It started out with just curiosity. Like a lot of people, coffee was just a part of my daily routine at first, but the more I learned, the more I realized that coffee was an entire world of flavors, techniques, and traditions waiting to be explored. I became fascinated with how different brewing methods could completely transform the taste of the same beans. That curiosity eventually led me down the path of roasting. I started small, like really small. My first roast happened right in the basement of our home. I had no fancy equipment, just a deep desire to learn. I had experimented with different roast levels, testing how time and temperature affected the beans, and some batches were amazing, and others, well, let's just say I learned a lot through trial and error. But that's part of the beauty of coffee, and every mistake teaches you something, and every roast and every brew is a chance to refine your craft. And that's the amazing thing about coffee is after a while I knew I needed more space. I was continuing to grow, getting more equipment, larger equipment, and I knew I needed something more. So I moved my roasting setup into a small shed on our home property. And it was a step up, but it still was a very small operation. Perfect for what I needed though. And I spent hours fine tuning my process, sourcing better beans, and diving into the science behind what makes a truly great roast. At this point, coffee wasn't just a hobby, it was becoming a passion that I really wanted to share with others. As I continued to grow, I got more and more customers. I expanded into people in the community and others besides just friends and family. And things were going very well until 2021. And 2021 came along, and with it, one of the biggest obstacles and challenges that I had faced in the business. I had been roasting for a while by then, and things were starting to pick up. But one day I had experienced something every roaster dreads, and that was a roaster fire. If you have ever seen a coffee roaster fire, let me tell you, it happens fast, and in a matter of moments, something I had poured my heart into was suddenly in flames. It was a huge setback for me, both emotionally and financially. At that point, it just felt like it would have been easier to throw in the towel, but looking back, I see that fire as a turning point. It had forced me to rebuild, rethink, and upgrade, and looking back at it now, it was a huge blessing that it all happened, and it happened at the perfect time. I had invested in a better roasting setup, and that decision ultimately changed the course of my coffee business for the better. So instead of giving up, I doubled down, improving my craft and my approach. So not long after that whole incident in 2021, beginning of 2022, our family opened up our first coffee shop. So moving my roasting operation into the shop was a huge step. That's where we moved everything after the fire. So it meant I could share my coffee with people directly, face to face in the coffee shop. At that point, coffee wasn't just something I roasted and sold. It was something I was able to experience with my community, seeing people's reactions when they tasted a cup of coffee that had been carefully sourced and roasted and brewed just right. That made all the challenges that we went through worth it. And it just made me feel so amazing, the community coming together and experiencing the amazing flavors of coffee with me. And that's what my dream and my goals have been all along. And a lot of people ask me why I love coffee so much. And my answer isn't just about the taste, it's about what coffee represents. Coffee brings people together, and it's the conversations over a morning cup, the quiet moments of reflection, the energy that fuels creativity and hard work. It's a global story, and it's one that starts on farms around the world, travels through the hands of roasters like me, and ends in your mug. And the more I've learned, the more I've realized how much people are missing out on when they only experience coffee through mass-produced, over-roasted beans. The difference between commodity coffee and specialty coffee is absolutely huge. And my goal is to help more people experience that difference for themselves and to understand that difference. And that's why I started the Origin Essence Roasting Co. and why I'm starting this podcast. This podcast is going to be a deep dive into the world of coffee. Some episodes will be focused on brewing techniques, how to master different methods like Chemex, AeroPress, and espresso. Others will be about coffee science and what happens during roasting, and how grind size affects extraction, why water temperature matters, and I'll also be sharing behind the scenes stories from my own journey as a coffee roaster and shop owner. I'll also be bringing on guests to baristas, fellow roasters, and coffee lovers from different backgrounds so we all can learn from each other. The next episode, we're going to be kicking things off with one of my all-time favorite brewing methods, and that is the Chemex pour over. If you've never used one before, or if you're looking to improve your technique, I'll be breaking down everything you need to know, why it's such a unique way to brew, and the best techniques for getting a clean and flavorful cup, and some common mistakes to avoid. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next. And if you have any coffee-related questions or topics you'd love to hear about, reach out. I love to bring those into the future episodes. And also, if you want to see more coffee content, follow us on social media. You can find Origin Essence Roasting Co. on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. And if you're into video content, check out our YouTube channel. We're sharing behind the scenes looks at the roasting process, brewing guides, and deep dives into coffee culture. Just search Origin Essence Roasting Co. on YouTube and hit subscribe. Thanks for listening, guys, and until next time, keep brewing, keep exploring, and enjoy every sip.